Good evening. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to the school board meeting of Tuesday, January 2nd, 2021. I'm School Board Chair Shirley Brown, and the public is encouraged and welcome to address the school board at the hearing of citizens. If you wish to speak during the hearing of citizens, please pick up a card in the back of the chambers, print your name and topic clearly, and return the card to our board assistant, Kathy Tompkins, down here. At the appropriate time, we'll call you up to speak. Right now, we have our flag salute by the Booker High JROTC on the direction of Sergeant John Ledbetter. Please stand. I'd like to ask our student representative, Brianna Whitledge-Isaac from Booker High, to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Booker High, JORTC, and Sergeant John Ledbetter. Tonight, our student is Brianna Whitledge-Isaacs from Booker High School. Welcome, Brianna. It's nice for you to join us as the student rep. Could you tell us a little something about yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Brianna Whitledge-Isaacs. I'm a senior at Booker High School. I'm currently in 3 programs with my school. The current one is the ACE program, which stands for Advanced International Certificate of Education. In this, it is founded by the Cambridge University, and we are able to take college credits and high school credits simultaneously. I'm also in the College for Every Student Brilliant Pathways program, and through this, we overall help students develop their post-secondary plan for their career and education. And I'm also in the dual enrollment program at State College of Florida, where I'm also able to take college credits and high school credits at the same time. So I believe these are very great programs that I recommend to any student who is interested. Additionally, what I'd like to do in the future is to become a pediatric sports medicine doctor. So when I graduate high school, I would like to attend a 4-year university to major in mathematics while on the pre-medicine track. And when I graduate med school, that is when I would either specialize in pediatric sports medicine or pediatric orthopedic surgery. One thing that I've done to kind of help me for that pathway is the Florida State University Stride Pre-Med Mentoring Program, which is a new program implemented through our school. And through this, we're given resources and opportunities to help us have a smoother pathway for this program and for medicine. And specifically right now, I have a meeting with my mentor every week, and she kind of gives me skills and teaches me different tips and stuff to help us be better prepared for that. So yeah, that's about it. I have a 4.9 GPA, and I probably shouldn't say this in this situation, but if there's any donors out there who are watching, please feel free to contribute. You can contact me, or you can contact Mr. Andrews in the College and Career Center at Booker High School. Thank you so much.
Brianna, you put us to shame. I don't think I figured out what I wanted to be when I grew up until I was 40-some. Can you tell us a little bit about the Civility Squad character trait for February? Or I guess maybe March. I don't know which one you're working on. March, and how it affects you.
Sure. So the Civility Squad theme for this month is Rediscover Silence, and it states, quiet your voice, quiet your mind, a sense of peace you will find. And in my opinion, I feel that sometimes in life, people are quick to assume things or are quick to jump to conclusions before analyzing all the factors of the situation. And what I mean by this is sometimes you must quiet your voice, humble yourself, and separate yourself from that chaos in order to find out what was causing that chaos in the first place.
Good advice for all of us. We would like to thank you for serving as our student representative, and I presented you with a certificate of appreciation, and we wish you the best of luck in the future. Thank you. Special presentations. The first presentation, I'd like to invite Sarah Dan, the Director of Food and Nutrition Services, to approach the podium for our Food and Nutrition Services Food Heroes.
Sorry. Good evening. Good evening, good evening, fellow board members, Superintendent Asplin, Patrick Dugan, student Brianna. You're awesome. I think you have a very bright future ahead of you, and it's very exciting. I like that this month's theme is rediscovering silence, and as you said, calming yourself. As what we are going to do tonight, or what I've got the opportunity to do, is to recognize some school nutrition heroes. As many of you know, in March of 2020, the world of school nutrition kind of changed dramatically. School was closed, and we had to figure out how to do some things differently. And so some people have come alongside us. We've been able to recognize them throughout the school year, who really stepped up in our community to just be additional heroes to help our department out in a very unprecedented times. So the first person I would like to recognize tonight is Chef Paul Madison, and if he would come forward. Chef Paul is very known to the school district over the years. He's helped with various garden projects at different schools. He has participated in our our Chefs Move to School efforts. But in November, as Tropical Storm Eta approached, he also does community feeding and provides food for first responders. Well, when that storm didn't quite work out the way it did, he had some extra resources. So what he chose to do is he donated those resources to community organizations, and one of them was our department, Food Nutrition Services. It allowed us to do some special things in some schools, but during our emergency feeding operations, we are providing meals during breaks for families in need. We were able to give extra food to our students that participated in that, and also our families. So we just wanted to present you with a certificate of appreciation for being a school nutrition hero. And we're also going to give each of our recipients tonight, this is a copy of a student painting that was provided by some Oak Park and Laurel Nokomis students who have been participating in our emergency feeding, plus a mask that says School Nutrition Hero. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, we'll get it at the end? Okay, great, thank you. Okay. Our next two, and this one, I'll be honest, was a blessing in disguise. I received a phone call from the acting superintendent at the time, Mitzi Cochran, and she said, Sarah, how would you like to talk to some people that would like to interview you about what you're doing in school nutrition with the pandemic? I said, okay. Little did I know that we would be on a little adventure for over probably 6 to 8 weeks. And so I'd like to call forward Maverick and Lulu. They're from Maverick and Lulu in the morning on 92.1 CTQ. If they would both come forward together. So what we did they would interview me every week, and we would share with our families where they could find food, where they could find resources, and they were also interviewing other people in the community So they just assisted in getting the word out. I know that there were families that benefited from being food insecure during this time because of their morning show. And if you ever get a chance, I feel like all radio programs in our area are great, but they really do have a heart for our community. And so did an amazing job of getting the word out. They interview other districts as well. And again, we felt like there were students that benefited from your service. So I'm going to give this to you. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Here's this.
Thank you.
The other thing that's coming up, just a reminder to all of our families that might be watching, National School Breakfast Week starts next week. Again, our meals are free through the end of the school year, so we just hope our families participate in the resources that we have available. Thank you. Have a great evening. Oh, we got to get...
And next, for our the Arts in Our Schools Month and Embracing Our Differences presentation, would Angela Hartfordson, the Fine Arts Program Specialist for K-12, please approach the podium?
Good evening, Mrs. Brown, board members, Dr. Asplin, Mr. Duggan, and Brianna. March is a big month. It's Dance in Our Schools Month, Music in Our Schools Month, Theater in Our Schools Month, and Youth Arts Month. We thought it would be a perfect time to highlight some of our talented students in both visual art and the performing arts, as well as our powerful partnership with Embracing Our Differences. There are 3 distinct parts to our presentation tonight, during which we will honor 2 in-person talented art students, numerous artists and quoters from Embracing Our Differences via a video, and highlight a wonderful performance from Booker High School. We are so very proud of our students and teachers. There will be 2 brief photo op moments at the end of our visual artist recognition, and then the fantastic performance. Comments for all portions of the presentation will be best at the end of the performance. We will let you know when our presentation has concluded. In 2016, House Bill 701 established a statewide visual arts competition for Florida students in grades 6 through 8. We hold an annual art competition to select the piece that will represent Sarasota County in the art exhibit that will hang in the Capitol building in Tallahassee during the legislative session. Our artwork was delivered to the Capitol this year by Senator Joe Gruters. This year's winning artwork that you will see in just a moment on the screen is by an 8th grade artist from Sarasota Middle School named Lexandra Martinez. Her art teacher is Mr. Brooks Tracy, and her proud principal, Dr. Lori Breslin. Lexandra, could you please stand and let us recognize you with a round of applause?
Hi, I'm Brian Hirsch. Good evening. As in addition to being the program director for Any Given Child, an initiative that ensures access and equity for arts education, I also have the honor to serve as our district's liaison for Embracing Our Differences. And it made my day today to participate in the Embracing Reading Day as part of the National Read Across America Day, as I read Tomas and the Library Lady to Ms. Azef's classroom at Philippi Shores Elementary. And I hope that we made the co-founder and vice chair of Embracing Our Differences, Gracie McGillicuddy, very proud, and she's here with us this evening in these collaborative efforts. Without further ado, I'd really love to introduce you to the dynamic executive director of Embracing Our Differences, Sarah Wertheimer, to speak with you about more details about these efforts. Sarah?
Thank you very much, Brian. And thank you to all of the school board members, administrators, and educators who allow us to teach the students in our community the importance of treating one another with kindness and respect. For those of you who don't know as much about embracing our differences, we're an arts and education nonprofit based here in Sarasota, and our mission is to use the transformative power of the arts to educate and inspire to create a better world. We envision a world that embraces differences, respects diversity, and actively rejects hatred and prejudice. We accomplish this through an annual large-scale juried art exhibition and a comprehensive series of educational initiatives, resources, and programs designed for teachers and students. We also have, of course, our art exhibit at the Bayfront, which is currently on display. Most people know us by our art exhibit, but they don't know as much about our educational initiatives, which really are the heart of our organization and where the majority of our time, energy, and resources are spent. That's why all of you are so vital to the work that we do. This year, for our exhibit, we received 15,912 submissions from 128 countries, 48 states, and 412 schools from around the world. Many of these submissions came from students in our Sarasota County schools, and we're so proud to be able to display them now at Bayfront Park. On behalf of Embracing Our Differences and our wonderful Vice Chair and co-founder, Gracie McGillicuddy, and I would like to thank the entire Sarasota County School Board and all of the administrators and educators who support our programming by working with their students to submit artwork and quotations, taking their students on free field trips to the exhibit, although virtual this year, attending our educator workshops, taking part in our 2 annual reading days, which one happened today, as Brian said, in more than 450 classrooms, and participating in special initiatives encouraging compassion and empathy. Together, we will continue to make a difference while fostering welcoming and inclusive school cultures in all of our schools. Now we have a quick video for you.
My name is Emily Norris. I'm a student at Sarasota Middle School. My piece is titled Small Struggles. My artwork depicts a little girl standing in front of an aisle of dolls advertised to look like the person buying them. I created this piece by drawing the line work using an application on my phone, printing it out, then used markers to color it in. To me, embracing our differences means showing off what's unique about yourself. My artwork depicts the mission of embracing our differences by highlighting the little struggles people of color go through every day.
And now I am proud to present our Best in Show Student Art Award to Emily Norris of Sarasota Middle School. Both Emily and her school will receive a $500 cash prize for each of them.
Emily Norris, will you please stand to be recognized? So now is our photo up. So we're going to do two different photos. First, we are going to have, just to take a quick moment, our first photo will be Alexandra with Mr. Tracy, Dr. Breslin, and our colleagues over here on the board. And then following that will be our next one with Embracing Our Differences. Awesome, and one more with.
Little more, little more, little more, okay.
We cannot celebrate March and its highlighting of the arts without also recognizing the performing arts. Here this evening, representing the VPA theater and musical theater programs at Booker High School, are students Marcus Cruz and Ryan Majeski. In attendance here tonight are their amazing theater teacher, Mr. Scott Keys, and their very proud principal, Dr. Rachel Shelley. I'm going to let Marcus take it from here. Marcus?
Hi there, good evening. My name is Marcus Cruz Santiago, and I am a senior at Booker VPA Theater Program. And I am also the proud recipient of the Bayless $2,000 scholarship for musical theater from the Florida Theater Conference, so sorry. Booker VPA and arts education overall is a sanctuary for so many students, a place to be themselves and express themselves artistically and to feel like they belong. The pandemic has forced so many of us into solitude and isolation, as the world around us battles with the turmoil of racial, political, and social separation. This spring, Booker VPA Theater Department will present a new musical entitled Kingdom of Solitaire, written by our very own inspiring faculty, Scott Keys and Johnny Minich. In this whimsical, allegorical fantasy, a boy, Poindexter, Dex for short, has found playing solitaire alone in his room his only escape, and has self-proclaimed himself the King of Solitaire, and needs absolutely no one else in his quarantined castle. In a dream, Dex is abducted by a joker and is tasked with saving the Kingdom of Cards, which is in the verge of collapse. In his quest to rescue the deck, from political division and rectify the great suit dispute, Dex discovers what it is to belong to a community and work together. Here is junior Ryan Majeski singing Belong from the original musical Kingdom of Solitaire.
Belong. I want to belong. Be a part of the group, one of the deck. Join in with the throng. Belong. I want to belong. Have the right to be wrong. Make a mistake. Lose the hand. But still stand strong. I want to sing my own tune, sing loud and strong. Unite, invite the crowd to sing along. Beat my own drum, bang my own gong, lead the parade, or just follow along. My flag unfurled, diamond club, spade or heart. I want to start being part of the world. I just want to belong. I want to belong. I want to belong.
That sounded like a part of a bigger play that should be produced on Broadway or somewhere. Just the beginning. More songs to write.
They have one coming up. That is from a play they have coming up soon. April, this spring, and I'll make sure you know when it is.
Thank you.
So as we learned from Marcus and Ryan, the arts are vital to our students' overall social and emotional well-being, and with helping them stay connected to themselves and to the world around them. The skills that they hone through our arts programs are immeasurable, but include creativity, collaboration, perseverance, focus, and the confidence we see exemplified here. Brian?
Thanks, Angela. And to help close, our Sarasota County schools have strong arts programs with certified teachers in all of our schools. Our community arts organizations, artists, and partners are all deeply dedicated to supporting our students and experiences in the arts. We so value your commitment to maintaining and sustaining our arts programs and the support of our school leaders to offer classes across all art forms and all levels, now and in the future. Sarasota County Schools believes the arts are education. As we work through the challenges on the horizon, arts education in Sarasota County Schools will remain an essential element of a complete education. Also, as we begin to recover from this pandemic, the arts will play a crucial role to support the well-being of all students, teachers, administrators, families, and our entire school community. Thank you again for supporting the arts in our schools. This concludes our presentation for the evening. Thank you so much.
We want to thank you all, too, for bringing out in our students what there is. Our community supports this, and we have arts in every single one of our schools, elementary, middle, and high school, you know, from North County all the way down to South County. It's in all of our schools, and we can only do that because of the support of our community and our referendum that they passed, was it now 12 years ago?
No, since 2002.
2002, what is it now, 20, almost 20 years ago. So, you know, that's what helps us to do this, and it's so wonderful to have a community that supports the arts and understands how important and vital it is for our children to have that, and we truly, truly appreciate that. And I started my day out with the reading program, too. I read over at Philippi Shores in Rachel Moran and Jennifer Willis's class. So I always appreciate that reading and always think, because today is the Dr. Seuss's Read Across America Day, is it? So a lot of kids were eating green eggs and ham in kindergarten today. Next up, we have the reading recovery and literacy lesson and a teacher recognition presentation. Would Chris Renoff, the Executive Director of Elementary Schools, come to the podium?
Before I begin, I would just ask that everybody please give them another round of applause.
Oh, absolutely.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Asplin, Mr. Duggan, and Ms. Isaacs. It's always an honor to come before you to share great things that are happening in our schools. Well, let's keep the celebration going. This evening, I have the distinct pleasure to introduce two of Sarasota County's extraordinary, and I'm talking extraordinary, teacher leaders in reading recovery and literacy lessons, Miss Lisa Fisher and Rachel Chappell. These incredible ladies are extremely excited, but really, really grateful to have the opportunity to share and to showcase Sarasota County's reading recovery and literacy lesson story with all of you, but also equally as excited to celebrate and recognize some very, very talented and special guests with us this evening. Without further ado, Lisa, Rachel.
Thank you all very much, and sorry we have to follow that, ladies.
I will not be singing.
No singing here. So reading recovery is a highly effective short-term early intervention of one-on-one tutoring for low-achieving first graders and is used as a supplement to good classroom teaching. Reading recovery is also a professional development model, not a packaged kit or curriculum. So the one-on-one instruction happens over the course of 12 to 20 weeks and approximately 30 to 40 hours of tutorial, where the early literacy expert crafts an individualized prescriptive lesson and the reading recovery teacher works closely with the classroom teachers, the students' parents, and the school's Swiss team to monitor student progress. The other half of their day is spent working with small groups and/or coaching. Here is one of our reading recovery teachers, Kathy Monda, at Englewood Elementary on a recent visit of Dr. Asplin's.
I feel very honored to be able to work with our striving readers. It's a one-on-one intervention. We work together for 12 to 20 weeks for about 30 minutes every day. We work on reading, writing, vocabulary, oral language. It's a very intense 30 minutes, very quick paced. Our goal is to get them on the average of the class within that time frame, and we are very successful.
These specialists partner with their grade level teacher to provide continuous monitoring even after these students discontinue, and everyone owns these children, which means teachers, interventionists, and students feel confidence and success. Literacy instruction in reading recovery and literacy lessons is based on the student's experience with authentic text. It is important that the young reader learn to love reading, to understand deeply the stories they read while independently problem-solving their encounters with text. While strong skills in isolation are important and have their place, readers must integrate all that they know about how print works on the run. Reading recovery does not follow a prepackaged, scripted, one-size-fits-all approach to literacy learning. Instead, as with all the components of the reading recovery lesson you see listed here, phonemic awareness and phonics instruction are systematic in nature and based on the close observation by the skilled teacher and the strengths and needs of each individual child. Multisensory techniques are used throughout the lesson to engage students' eye, ear, mouth, and hand. This attention to linking modalities is vital to the reciprocity of reading, writing, and language. So this is a short clip about the effective professional development model of reading recovery and literacy lessons. On a weekly basis, teachers in training to be reading recovery or literacy lessons teachers get the opportunity to go behind the glass where one of their colleagues teaches a student on one side, and the rest of the teachers in training get an opportunity to have that shared experience on the other side of the glass, watching what's happening not only with the student, but also the responsiveness of the teacher.
Let's find a word that tricked you. Let's see if we can work on it together. Excellent.
So a large part of the learning is around these shared experiences at the glass. Teachers provide a special gift by teaching their own students behind the glass, allowing their colleagues to discuss and collaborate over theory, applied practice, literacy processing, and student evidence. Our reading recovery and literacy lessons teachers build capacity on their staff. Understanding the importance of learning through talk, reading recovery and literacy lessons teachers plan and deliver literacy modules to classroom teachers and paraprofessionals as well. Homeroom teachers can immediately apply these key strategies and best practices in the classroom and with small groups. This promotion of collective efficacy is vital to our district's professional health, and we are so grateful for their leadership in this effort. Literacy lessons is an exciting expansion to reading recovery and is now in 13 of our elementary schools. Literacy lessons is designed to reach young children, generally grades 1 to 5, in special education or ELL settings who are struggling with beginning reading and writing, but not eligible for reading recovery. We do know that the best investment for students is knowledgeable teachers. Teachers who know how to adjust teaching based on a student's needs and abilities. The expertise of reading recovery teachers has prompted our district to also invest training in other specialist teachers. The ESE or ELL specialist teacher is trained to adapt instruction to meet the unique needs of the students in these special populations. The goal is to dramatically reduce the number of students who have extreme learning difficulties and in literacy, and to reduce the cost of these learners to our educational systems. Here's just one student example. This is Miss Robson at Fruitville Elementary, and she's excited to finish this student's lesson series as he is working with his average age peers and can access classroom instruction effectively. His rapid response to this unique instructional format has been thrilling to watch, and we are certain that he is now developing a literacy processing system.
So I'm going to take you a little bit, just a brief journey of where we started and where we are now. Our first year of implementation began in the 2015-16 year. We began in only 3 schools and trained 6 teachers in all. This is our 6th year of implementation and now have reading recovery in 25 schools. And as Rachel mentioned, literacy lesson in 13 schools with 53 teachers in all. The overall impact has been significant. By the end of this year, an estimated 1,425 students will have had reading recovery, and 6,000 kindergarten through 3rd graders have been serviced in small literacy groups during the second half of their day. An additional 400 primary teachers have received professional development trainings from our reading recovery and our literacy lessons teachers, which has greatly impacted the overall collective efficacy in elementary schools across our district. This graph represents the reading recovery students' total growth averages by school. The graph, let's see if that'll work for us. That graph here, that bar graph to the far right, shows the total growth of the national average first grader. The dotted line at the bottom represents the incoming national average student, reading recovery student. And then the top dotted line represents at the end of program. So it's a round 1 student mid-year at end of program. As you can see, our students at the end of program exceed the national average reading recovery students' total growth. The blue line that you see shows the national average first grader at the beginning of the year, and the green line at mid-year. As you can see, most of our schools perform not only at the average or above the average of the national reading recovery student, but the majority of our students also score at or above the national average for our on-grade level 1 first grader. Early intervention is key because strong reading skills form the basis for learning in all subjects. It is important, it's imperative to identify those who struggle with literacy as early as possible. Reading recovery is proactive and preventative versus reactive and remedial, which is what most other interventions are. This subgroup report shows that our English language learners, African American and Hispanic students made 1.3 to 1.5 years growth. Last year, by mid-year, our reading recovery students made 9 months of growth compared to the 5-month growth obtained by an average first grader. Retention data over the last 6 years in all grades, kindergarten through 2nd grade, has decreased by nearly half. This dramatic drop is not only due to the intensive intervention of reading recovery, but also the small group work these teachers are doing in the other portion of their day, as well as the professional development that they are consistently providing for their colleagues at their school sites. An outside evaluator has assessed the impact of our Read and Read program each year. As part of that report, we know that Read and Recovery not only changes the trajectory of the lives of those students, but also saves our districts hundreds of thousands of dollars each year with the cost avoidance from these decreased retentions. For instance, our first year's report showed that just in 1st grade alone, there was a $350,000 cost avoidance. These retention reductions have been maintained. Knowing that the cost of retention per pupil has increased, we anticipate that this year's report will reflect even more of a cost savings to the district. Very exciting. We're very excited. Ooh, went too far. As we've shared, the impact of these highly trained professionals have made that it has been significant, and we are so proud of each and every one of them.
Yes, I would say we are beyond excited to recognize these 2019-2020 Reading Recovery and Literacy Lessons cohort of teachers. These teachers have met high expectations and completed the rigorous postgraduate coursework required to become a Reading Recovery or Literacy Lessons teacher. These particular Literacy Lessons teachers, wave your hand if you're one, are actually our first ever in the state of Florida. So congratulations on that distinct honor. Our mission is to provide early intervention, early literacy intervention, as well as to improve the performance of our lowest performing student populations, our English language learners and our students in the exceptional student education programs, kindergarten through 5th grade. These literacy leaders have received their certificates of completion as well as a framed poem written by Mother Teresa that symbolizes the challenging work that we love of meeting the diverse needs of our students and designing their individualized path to literacy. So Lisa's going to read the poem.
You will teach them to fly, but they will not fly your flight. You will teach them to dream, but they will not dream your dream. You will teach them to live, but they will not live your life. Nevertheless, in every flight, in every life, in every dream, the print of the way you taught will always remain. Mother Teresa.
So let me introduce to you each of these special individuals and the schools they represent. If I could have each one of you please come forward as I call your name. Literacy Lessons teacher Karen Barcenas from Tuttle Elementary. Larice Bartley, Literacy Lessons teacher from Emma E. Booker Elementary. Yep, just line right up there. We'll get a picture in a minute. Unfortunately, Katrina Cloninger-Moyer from Taylor Ranch Elementary couldn't be with us this evening. Reading Recovery teacher Becky Crawford from Suncoast School of Innovative Studies. Reading Recovery teacher Eva Feliciano from Lamarck Elementary. Literacy Lessons teacher Michelle Guzman, our District ESOL teacher trainer, teaching individuals at Tuttle Elementary. Literacy Lessons teacher Allison Johnson at Tatum Ridge Elementary. Reading Recovery teacher Robin Carestoli from Brentwood Elementary. Reading Recovery teacher Allison Mallow from Toledo Blade Elementary. Literacy Lessons teacher Heather McLear, Brentwood Elementary. Literacy Lessons teacher Morgana Robson, Fruitville Elementary. reading recovery teacher Heidi Swedberg from Laurel Nokomis School, and reading recovery teacher Tanisha Williams from Emma E. Booker Elementary. All right, teachers, it's time to put your pens on.
You would pin them, but things are a little different nowadays.
We look so forward to the many student lives that these teachers will touch. The handprint that they leave on their literacy lives and the capacity building we know they will participate in across our district with student families and colleagues will make great impact. If there ever was a picture of collective efficacy, you're looking at it. These teachers and the others like them understand the importance of empowering a staff and the idea that together we can truly make a positive impact on student achievement, regardless the challenges our students face.
None of this would be possible without the support of Gulf Coast Community Foundation, Keith Monda, Charles and Marjorie Foundation, you, our esteemed school board, and of course, our very own Dr. Kingsley and Mr. Renoff. Dr. Kingsley, would you please come up so that we can recognize you by honoring you with and presenting to you your very own Florida Reading Recovery pen. Our words of gratitude just do not seem quite enough because your leadership as our site coordinator has been imperative and oh so appreciated. You have been Reading Recovery champion from the onset. You are the true image of encouragement, inspiration, integrity, and dedication. And we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
I didn't earn your pen, but I will really appreciate it. Thank you.
And this is for you as well.
Thanks.
Signed by all our Reading
Get up
Recovery
in the
teachers.
picture.
So as we conclude, we're just going to take a group photo and thank you all again for all your hard work.
Well, I know for a fact some of those tricks you're learning at the reading recovery programs are also being taught in professional development for our kindergarten teachers. I was in the class this morning and was listening to some of the children read their books. And, you know, how exciting it is when the first time he read the sentence, "in the woods," or so that he can play in the woods, he can hide in the woods. But the first time he saw the W and he said water, he didn't know what woods. I said, no, let's sound it out. We sounded out woods. The next page, in the woods, ended it again. But the third page, fourth and fifth, he got that in the woods. And it's so great to know when they've learned a word. And every day they do that. And, you know, and hopefully we'll get them great in kindergarten. And we won't have so many that we have to recover. But it's so important for them all to learn to read. They learn to read. It opens up so many avenues. Thank you. Thank you. And I know most of us have seen you do your work. We've observed it. It's wonderful work. And it opens up avenues for our children and helps them enjoy. Just thank you so much for all you do. Turn it over to our superintendent. He was making lists over there before I came, and I don't know.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate it, and thank you, teachers. Really appreciate you. It was excellent coming to visit the school and see you behind the glass there with your students. It was very good, and the fact that you all work so well collaboratively, that's what it's all about. So thank you for what you do for our students every day. Appreciate it. Just a few items here. First of all, just wanted to say that March is Women's History Month. And Women's History Month had its origin as a national celebration in 1981 with Women's History Week. And it celebrates the contributions that women have made to the United States and recognize the specific achievements women have made over the course of American history. Yes. Also, March is Social Workers Month, and the theme for Social Workers Month this year is Social Workers Are Essential. Also, I have a snippet out of the newspaper that Madam Chair Brown gave me tonight, and it's very exciting. The Take Stock in Children of Sarasota County Scholar and Booker High School senior Miles Summerlin has been named one of 6 winners of this year's Leaders for Life Fellowship. And the fellowship is sponsored by the Asofsky Family Foundation and comes with a $40,000 scholarship that pays for college expenses not covered by any other award or financial aid. So congratulations to Miles Summerlin.
Isn't that one of 6 in the state or something?
Yes.
Or the nation?
Yes, definitely. So Dr. Shelley, tell them congratulations for us. And I'll be out there next week. I think I'll see you. Just a couple other things here. First of all, accreditation. We had accreditation this past week, and there were five people who came out from all over the nation, different parts of the nation, to be on the accreditation team. And I just want to say that it was a very positive experience. Dr. Edlo Barker at the end, during his exit interview with me, talked about the fact that they interviewed 225 stakeholders in our school district, which included leaders, teachers, students, and highly supportive parents. And he was very impressed with our school district, and he's going to give us a written report in about 6 weeks. But it looks like our school district will be district-wide accredited, so that's fantastic. And I do want to thank everyone at the schools and the school district who helped with that. I know Carol K. Brown did a fantastic job of putting this accreditation together, and I want to thank her and everyone that helped her. So thank you very much. Also, we had our equity committee, our first equity committee meeting. It was on February 18th. And as you all know, Dr. Moore is our Equity and Innovation Director. And I want to thank her for being here tonight, and also thank her for being at the meeting. I know she was still the principal at McIntosh at the time, and yesterday was your first day in your new position, so you had a foot in both buckets. But I appreciate you being at the committee meeting, and she did a fantastic job running that committee that night. And just to let you know 2 things, we identified a purpose and some goals, and we had 30 people at this meeting, 4 of which were students, which was fantastic. The students did a great job. I'm so glad that they're on there. And the other 26 folks who were on there as well, from all different cultures, all different walks of life in our entire school district. And it was just great having everybody in one place to kind of, everybody was able to speak a little bit, talk about themselves and why they were there, and it was just fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to this committee moving forward throughout the year, and I'm really looking forward to Dr. Moore being the person overseeing that committee and walking us through that this year. But the purpose here, and I wanted to read this so that everybody can hear, the purpose of the Equity Committee is to work collaboratively with the District Director of Innovation Equity to address the equity issues and concerns within our school district, to express and speak for school community concerns related to equitable educational opportunities, multicultural, gender fair education, and serve as liaison between parents, students, patrons, and the school district relative to equity issues and concerns. And a few of our goals from the other night: closing the achievement gap. We're looking at ways to find, how can we close that achievement gap and eliminate academic disparity. Identify current community concerns regarding equity within the school district. Assist in linking community education support programs to the district. Assist in achieving equity in the schools, which includes resources, professional development, learning overall, culture, climate. Also assist the district with equity and diversity in staff recruitment and retention, and then contribute to the planning and development of an equity policy or plan. So we want to create an equity plan within that group. So again, I felt very good about it. We've had one meeting. Dr. Moore is actually going to, we're going to put her on the workshop in April. so that, because you will have had one or two more meetings since then, and then she'll be able to give us a report as to where we are with that. Also, planning day, we've talked about that before. We decided April 8th is the best day for planning day for all of our employees. Gives our teachers a chance to review data together, build lessons, collaborate together. Also, we can do some deep cleaning with our custodial staff and also our food service staff and bus drivers and bus staff. So we're looking forward to that April 8th day. And I just want to make sure parents know that April 8th will be a planning day, which is a non-student attendance day. Also, strategic plan, we talked about it a little bit earlier during the board workshop, but it looks like we found a great company to lead us in our strategic plan. We're going to start here in March, and our strategic plan should be finished up by the end of July, beginning of August. So we're really looking forward to that, and I bring that up to the community because we will have stakeholder comments and initiatives in that strategic plan, so we will be calling on some folks out in our community to help us with some of that. Also, two other things, town hall meetings. I plan to have a town hall meeting in 4 different places in April, and it's going to be in person / Zoom concurrently. And I plan to have it at one at Northport High School, one at Venice High School, one at Booker High School, and one at Riverview High School, all in April. And it's a chance to meet the community again and listen to the community, see what concerns they might have out there. I know there's...
I can hear him. I think I'm in.
Is that the DOH? Yes. But to really listen to the community, you know, we've talked about it during our workshop. We have some items that are coming forward, and as we move into next year, and I just really want to listen to different folks from around the community. So I plan on having those town hall meetings, and then a state of the school or state of the school district on March 31st, and everybody will be receiving emails about that, and we'll have that in here for an hour and a half. And again, that'll be on March 31st, probably 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. We're putting that together now. But I just wanted everybody to be aware over the next, at the end of March and then through April, we'll have town hall meetings and then that state of the school district. And that concludes my, we have Chuck Henry. Chuck Henry or Michael Drennan. Michael, are you on? Chuck is. Hi, Chuck.
Chuck Henry is here.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi. Good evening, Dr. Brennan. Sorry, I had some challenges logging in.
No, that's great. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Can you just give us a quick overview of where we are right now with vaccines and so forth, especially since we saw that educators 50 and over can be vaccinated?
Sure. I'll give you a quick rundown, and then if there's questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. Let me just start by talking about COVID virus transmission in our community. We continue to trend downward, and that's a real positive. We're down to a percent positivity when we look at it on a 14-day basis of about 3.5. So that's very favorable to us and continues to look like it's trending downward some more. That's in the low to moderate level of transmission, so we still have to be careful. We're still encouraging everyone to continue those things that have kept us safe all year, social distancing, masking when we can't social distance, vigorous hand washing, all the things you're doing. And we're also seeing the numbers in terms of related to school come down as well. And so that's all good. Everyone's aware the vaccine is out there. We're working hard on that. Our vaccine numbers today for Sarasota County stand at just over 90,000 individuals vaccinated. That includes 48,600 plus with first doses and about 41,400 that have completed the series. About 70%. Let's see. I think that number's incorrect. 47% of our population over 65 has been vaccinated, so we're quickly approaching the 50% mark on that group. And as Dr. Asplin mentioned, under the governor's new executive order, he's added to our priority groups law enforcement over the age of 50 and teachers over the age of 50. So as guidance comes down from the state, which I expect in the next day or two on how we can implement that within the county. We'll be working with Dr. Asplin and his team to set up a process for that to happen for those new individuals in that group. So we're excited about that. So I think that's the big picture. The only other thing I would mention, because this week and last week, everyone's asking about variants. There continues to be concern around variants in terms of what they may do to the transmission rates. Viruses mutate, that's what we expect them to do. But as these variants arrive, and there's 3 primary ones in the US right now, the UK variant, the South African variant, and the Brazilian variant. And scientists continue to study those to determine are the variants replicating faster? Do they cause more or less illness? Do they transmit more easily or more slowly? Do they cause more severe illness or not? Do they have resistance to either vaccine or natural immunity? Those are all the things that worry medical scientists about what the variants may mean. And I think the data is too early to really make judgments on that. But so far, the vaccines seem to be relatively effective with the variants. And so we'll continue to monitor that. And the real good news with variants is that we can stop the variants the same way we stopped the spread of COVID-19 by continuing to do all those practices that we're so used to doing. So I think those are the big things I had. I'll be happy to pause if there's questions.
I have a question. You say that we're at 50%. What about all the people who have gone out of the county? Stephen King, went somewhere, and I know my husband was vaccinated up in Tampa along with a lot of people. Are those numbers, those people that are over 65, are those included in your numbers? Do you get those numbers from other counties?
Yes, the vaccines are recorded based on the consent form and the address of residents listed on the consent forms. So I haven't checked in the last week, but typically around 20% of our total vaccinated group that's been vaccinated receive vaccines outside of Sarasota County. And likewise, about 20% of the vaccines that we've distributed have gone to residents from other counties. So it sort of washes out, but the data focuses on the home of residence that was on the consent forms when people received their vaccines.
Mr. Edwards?
Hi, Mr. Henry. It's Tom Edwards. I'm still confused about the execution of some of the vaccines and the new executive order. So as of right now, no teachers are getting vaccines above the age of 50. Is that correct? You're waiting for direction?
So the new executive order goes into effect tomorrow. And so as of tomorrow, as I understand it from our legal teams, teachers over 50, law enforcement over 50, firefighters over 50, all become part of that 1A priority group and are eligible for vaccines. What I'm waiting to hear back from our state office is just any specific implementation instructions or guidance, generally in the form of trying to be consistent across the state that may come out. But nonetheless, we will continue to plan for vaccinating and moving them into the group. There's just a number of different ways we can do that, some faster than others. So we're trying to explore not only what's consistent with the state, but what works best for our community.
So hopefully tomorrow or shortly thereafter, we'll have some direct, because I think people are obviously anxious to get into that queue as quickly as possible. Will it be given by the DOH, or will they be sent to pharmacies only? Or again, is that part of the direction that you're waiting for?
Well, I don't think it'll be limited only to pharmacies. I think the DOH will have a role in that. I still have 80,000 plus residents 65 and above that are in the registry waiting for their vaccines. And so We're just looking at the whole big picture for the community and trying to ensure that we have a good way to move forward and cover the needs, especially as this new group of people move into the opportunity or eligibility for vaccines.
The other area that I'm getting requests from are even teachers that have comorbidities that are under the age of 50. And again, they've heard and read information that if you have a doctor's note that you can get them. They just don't know where and when and how the process works. So again, it's kind of confusing.
Right, so again, I would ask for a little bit of patience as we sort out how to best implement that in our county. The directives do give authority for doctors and nurse practitioners and pharmacists to vaccinate those between 16 and 64 with significant comorbidities. It also refers to a form that verifies that it meets certain criteria that the Department of Health is putting together. It's my understanding that that form is still being routed through, so I have not seen it yet. And then once those pieces are in place, understanding where vaccine is actually available, because certainly those individuals could register for pharmacies, but they're competing with everyone else trying to get into a few vaccines available at pharmacies. We would like to have more vaccine resources available throughout the county. Some of our hospitals who have been the primary players in this role so far are still working on vaccinating their lists of clients that have significant comorbidities. So tonight, I don't have a specific answer on where, but I hope before the week is out to be able to have specific places we can direct people to that meet the criteria for vaccination between 16 and 64 with significant comorbidities.
Well, thank you for your information. I mean, people are asking the questions because they see it in the newspaper and they get excited that they're finally ready to receive a vaccine, and it hasn't been as clear for those folks. But also on a personal note, thank you for, I've seen you on multiple Zoom meetings around town in various organizations, and you're always a trooper to really get out there and share what you know. So thank you so much for your service.
Thank you for that. And as soon as we have definitive information on how these newly eligible groups will be vaccinated in Sarasota County, we'll get that posted both to the county's webpage and DOH's webpage. And again, the video messages that either I record or my public affairs folks record will contain that information as well.
Yeah, I would appreciate it if you send it up the line also that, it's going to be difficult for our employees to be online for any length of time to try to get in the list or on the list at any given place, when they've got to get up and get into school, that, they can't be on a computer. And then also, if they get a day's notice or 2 days notice that their vaccine is going to happen at 9 o'clock on Thursday, we're going to have a big problem if we've got, 400 teachers out getting a vaccine on Thursday. So the way that we did it before on a Sunday or a Saturday would be better even, at the mall would be so much better. And having to drive to Tampa, I guess, is better, but to have to go through that list and have to expect them to be vaccinated on a Friday or a Thursday really causes problems for the school district. So if what you did before for us was wonderful, and we know you kind of pulled some strings for us, and we'd like to find some more.
And we will do our best to make it as best for the school board as possible. I just am not ready to commit to a specific process yet tonight.
I know, but we really, really appreciate you working for us. Dr. Asplin?
Yes, and Chuck, I just wanted to echo what Ms. Brown said, and thank you very much for the first round. I know that you worked really hard to help us out with that for 65 and older for all of our employees, and I think there were 400 or 500 shots that you're department gave in one day on a Saturday. And then this past weekend was their second shot. And from what I understand, that went really, really smoothly as well. So thank you for all of that. Thank you for helping us out in every way that you can. And hopefully, like Ms. Brown says, you know, in this second round, we'll be able to do something that mirrors that. So thank you again, Chuck.
Well, thank you for that, but I should send thanks back because both of those events were made possible because we had significant participation from school health teams and other school members that came and helped us make that process run smooth on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Any other questions, comments? Thank you. We just want to say, just keep up the good work.
Well, thank you. I appreciate all your support, and I'm sure that we'll be talking with the administration to work out details and getting that information out to employees.
Appreciate it.
Madam Chair, that completes my report, except I just want to say thank you again to our wonderful staff, our district staff. They are amazing people. They work hard every single day and do amazing work. And then also, I want to thank all the teachers and our administrators out at the schools and bus drivers, our custodial staff, everybody does amazing work every single day. And I can't thank them enough. So I just wanted to say that.
Okay, we're at hearing of citizens right now. We have 2 cards. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. When the timer flashes yellow over here, that means there's 1 minute left. So begin to summarize. When the light turns red, you will have to stop. Please note that respect for divergent viewpoints and civility will be shown at every board meeting, and whether you agree or disagree, please listen politely and respectfully without making sounds of approval or disapproval. And the board members are here to listen to you. This is not a time for debate, and the board will not take any formal action on your comments unless they're on an issue that we will be voting on after. If your comments are related to a non-agenda item, we may refer those to staff for a report at a future board meeting. First up, we have Amy Groats.
Thank you. I have a concern about the disinfectant fogging that's happening in the schools. Under school district direction, custodians are required to use a fogger to spray a vaporized hydrogen peroxide disinfectant into the hallways of our schools. The disinfectant is called Alpha HP and is fogged into the air 5 times per day during school hours, while students and staff are free to travel the halls. It equates to 25 times per week and 100 times per month. The label on the bottle of Alpha HP says, quote, Alpha HP multi-surface disinfectant cleaner. Active ingredient, hydrogen peroxide, 4.25%. It is a violation of federal law to use this product in a manner inconsistent with its labeling. This product is a one-step hospital-grade disinfectant designed for general cleaning, disinfecting, and deodorizing hard, non-porous, inanimate surfaces, end quote. The word surface or surfaces appears 15 times on the label. Alpha HP is labeled for the use of cleaning and disinfecting surfaces. Alpha HP is not labeled for application into the air with a fogger. According to cdc.gov, quote, repeated exposure to hydrogen peroxide vapor may cause chronic irritation of the respiratory tract and partial or complete lung collapse, end quote. According to OSHA.gov, quote, federal law entitles you to a safe workplace. Your employer must keep your workplace free of known health and safety hazards. You have the right to speak up about hazards without fear of retaliation. You also have the right to be protected from toxic chemicals, end quote. Governor Ron DeSantis has been made aware of the situation. I have shared all the documents with him. And I will make the documents available to the Herald Tribune as well.
Thank you.
It's the truth.
Sharon Doria.
Hi, and good evening. I think it's kind of a coincidence that I'm here tonight while you're celebrating literacy, because I'm here to speak about a very specific reading disability, dyslexia.
Excuse me, could you move the microphone up?
Sure.
Thank you.
Being from New York, children with dyslexia are given a reading program called Orton-Gillingham. It is a reading approach that has been very successful in teaching children with dyslexia to read. Unfortunately, in Florida, we don't have that reading program. And I have seen and worked with children with dyslexia who have been placed in EBD classrooms and IND clusters, all without the benefit of addressing this very specific reading disability. I believe this needs further investigation. The second thing I'd like to speak to is the ESY program for access points to students. In order for an ESY program to be available for an access point student, as a former IND teacher, we would jump through hoops. We were asked to document regression. An access point student is already 2 to 3 years behind. How much more do we need them to regress before we give them summer school? I think that should be a given for all access point students. And lastly, Dr. Asplin, it's a lot of fun watching you walk through the schools. But I'm going to leave you with this. If I was going to have guests for dinner, I'd put out my fine china too. You need to dig deeper. Thank you.
Thank you. That ends a hearing of citizens. Now we move to the agenda. Are there any additions or changes to the corrections to the consent agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, an addendum was added to item number 9, the instructional classified personnel report.
I move for approval of the consent agenda as amended.
Second. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Move on to new business.
I move for approval of a new job description, instructional materials, and library services support.
Second. This is an updated.
Yes, this is a job description that needed to be changed. Has some substantial changes to it. It's not a new position on the org chart. Not a new position. It's just upgrading the job description to match what the person does in this position and what we need this person to do in that position.
Yeah, I think there was a retirement, so we upgraded the position. Thank you. We vote, yes. Did somebody second it, didn't they?
I did.
Yeah. Fogging of the glasses. I believe it's 5-0. Final item, 27. Do I have a motion?
I move for approval of the new job description, producer, videographer / editor. The new job description for producer, videographer, editor replaces cable, broadcasting, and production technician in the communications department budget allocations. It's being presented to the board for approval as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please, any comment?
Same reasons as the first one.
Please vote. and that also passes 5-0. We will have spring break. I don't have my little note on when we're having our next meeting. It will not be the third Tuesday because of spring break. And so our next meeting, our next workshop and meeting will be on the 23rd. But something more exciting than that is happening this Friday because the Venice High School girls soccer team is playing for the state championship this Friday. Go girls. And they are expected to win. They would have won last year, except that the goalie caught it. But they counted this as a goal, even though the goalie caught the ball. They said she had a foot inside the goal. But that was one for the books. Any other comments from the board?
I have a comment.
Jane?
Don't forget the Sarasota County Fair.
Push the button.
Don't forget the Sarasota County Fair, which should open on the 19th through the 29th with animal exhibits and things of that type. So I just wanted to mention that for everyone.
And I understand you're going to be in which barn?
I'm going to be in the animal exhibit. It's appropriate, right?
Wear your boots. All right, any other comments? All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you.